All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BaHaShem, YAHAWASHI, BaHaShem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great Millstone who rule well. And I want to give peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, this is going to be a lesson going into the current events, things that are in the news. All right, which speak to Bible prophecy, which is everything that we are supposed to be looking for in these times. Okay, we are supposed to be keeping our eye out for the prophecies that lead to the end of this current world. All right, the end of the rulership of Esau Edom. Okay, because we are undoubtedly at the end of this age. Okay, and it's all going to culminate with the third world war. All right, that's how this thing is going to end. Okay, ICBM missiles. All right, so and like I said, we are to be watchful and mindful of these things. The scriptures tell us, 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. It said, and he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the earth which he made. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing when we're keeping our eyes on the current events, looking at the news, looking at things going on in the world. We're measuring the time diligently in itself and watching out for prophecy, because all of us hopeful members of the elect, all of us true believers, we're waiting for, we're looking towards the end. Okay, the end of our suffering, the end of the enemy being on top of us, the end of these mortal thoughts, this flesh, the end of our oppression. Okay, and these are the things that we are to look for, because there's only a couple of major prophecies that are left. All right, you got Jacob's trouble, you got the MOTB, which is the micro C hip. Okay, and you got the Third World War. It's salvation for the elect. All right, so we have to watch out for these things. All right, this is the article from The Hill that was posted yesterday, January 31st, 2024. It says, are U.S. and Iran already at war? Okay. It says here, more than 160 attacks on U.S. troops in Iraq, Syria, and Jordan, 37 clashes in the Red Sea with the Houthis, and now 5 dead U.S. service members. America's mounting proxy battle with Iran over the past 3 months is spurring questions about whether the countries are at war. It's also raising questions about whether the U.S. can continue to hit back at Iranian-backed militia groups without seeking congressional authority. All right. So the question is America already at war with Iran? With all of the conflict going on. Slocky, it says, the Biden administration argues it has successfully contained the Israeli war against the Palestinian militant group Hamas to Gaza, and that there is not a wider conflict. But the sheer numbers of attacks on U.S. forces points to tension spinning out of control. So that's another thing, man. You can't fully believe what you see in the news, what you're reading, even what we see in these articles. Okay, we have to pull from it the things that are pertaining to prophecy that make sense according to Bible prophecy. Some of this stuff is just a lot of propaganda, Okay, a lot of this is just information for political positioning. All right. And, you know, through the Spirit, the Lord will reveal the truth in due time, the full truth, according to this stuff. All right. But, you know, and we don't have to know, we don't have to know the specifics of every little detail, but we know these conflicts ultimately are going to result in the Third World War. Okay. It says, it is already a larger conflict. It's a question of degrees, said Robert Moret, a retired Navy Vice Admiral. He said the fighting is not yet out of control. Calling it a war is probably overstating things, said Moret. Okay. He said calling it a war basically at this moment is probably overstating it, right? And to a degree that is correct because, you know, although there are these little proxy wars happening, it hasn't really fully popped off yet. Why? Because there's prophecies that have to take place before, okay, those missiles get shot off. All right. It says calling it a war is probably overstating things, said Moret, now a professor at Syracuse University, but the hostilities that exist between Iran and the U.S. are at the highest level they've been in some time, right? Because we know ultimately they are going to go to war. And soon. The tit-for-tat battles reached a boiling point after a Sunday attack in Jordan, which the U.S. has said likely came from the Iranian-backed militia group in Iraq, Kataib Hezbollah. A suicide drone exploded in a housing unit at the Tau 22 base near Iraq and Syria, killing three Army soldiers. And that was in the news over the past couple of days. 3 Army soldiers were killed in Syria. It was Iraq, and that was heavy in the news. Okay, so you know, these things are going to spill over into, you know, a war. All right. So the question is Iran and America already at war? Not fully, but yeah, they're at war. Okay, they've declared that there's going to be war. You know, so that's just what it is. All right, there's another article here. It says, this is from CNN.com. It says FBI warns that Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc on critical U.S. infrastructure. Right now, this article is very short. It only has this one little paragraph because it's really like one of those headline articles with a little bit of a video inside. It says FBI warns that Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc on critical U.S. infrastructure. Right? It says as CNN's Brian Todd reports, the warning marks FBI Director Christopher Wray's most direct public warning to state about the threat that Chinese hackers pose to critical infrastructure. Right? And that's the whole thing. They're saying that China's proposing a threat to the infrastructure of the United States, and they're all warning about it. All right, real quick, let me see if I could play a little bit of this.
FBI director has issued an ominous warning to U.S. lawmakers. Chinese hackers are getting ready to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to the United States by targeting essential infrastructure. Details from CNN's Brian Todd.
The FBI director was blunt and dire with his warnings. Americans have paid far too little attention, Christopher Wray says, to what he calls a multi-pronged assault on U.S. national and economic security by Chinese hackers.
China's hackers are positioning on American infrastructure in preparation to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to American citizens and communities if and when China decides the time has come to strike.
What could Chinese hackers target that would cause harm inside the U.S.?
Our critical infrastructure, our water treatment plants, our electrical grid, our oil and natural gas pipelines, our transportation systems.
Wray didn't say that Chinese hackers are actively targeting those systems now, but that they're lurking inside critical infrastructure so they can use that access and be ready to strike at a later date.
You do reconnaissance, you identify targets, you identify the way in.
Okay, that's all I really want to play, like the first minute of it. I don't want to play the whole video, but as you can see, you know, the FBI director is basically saying that China's targeting the electrical grid, the water source, the main water source, the gas and oil pipelines. All right, all of the systems that America uses to operate on a daily basis are targets for China. Okay, and we know eventually it's going to happen, man. Maybe some sort of EMP or just, you know, attack on the grid that's going to shut things down. You know, eventually something major is going to happen concerning these nations. Okay, because that's just the scriptures, man. That's just Bible prophecy. Okay, straight and to the point. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just what the Lord said was going to happen. All right. This is the book of Jeremiah. To get a couple, I got just like maybe 1 or 2 precepts that I wanted to bring out for this lesson, because I just want to get straight to the point and show you what's in the news. What's in the news is prophecy, as you can see in this chapter, Jeremiah 50, and at the top the caption says prophecy against Babylon, right? And this is what we're seeing, man. Look at these articles. FBI warns that Chinese hackers are prepared to wreak havoc on critical U.S. infrastructure. These are prophecies against Babylon. All right. The last article I just pulled out. All right. The U.S. and Iran already at war. There's been attacks on U.S. troops, man. The scriptures say these are the prophecies against Babylon. I'm going to jump down here to verse 9. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain." Those arrows represents the ICBM missiles. Okay, that will eventually be shot off. But these countries are going to come against Babylon the Great, and they're starting now. The drone attacks. Okay. Hackers going in to wreak havoc on the infrastructure. You know, they already got it out for Babylon. All right? Because again, that's Bible prophecy. An assembly of great nations will eventually come against Babylon the Great. And that includes China, Iran, Russia, okay, etc., etc. Okay? And it must happen. It must happen because that is Bible prophecy. Okay? What else is in the news? I want to touch on. There's a couple of articles that I read today that I saved concerning these plagues and pestilences, right? This one from ABC News. It says Washington State experiencing first known outbreak of potentially deadly fungus. All right. Health officials, that's what they're saying. 4 patients have tested positive within the last month. All right. Now it says here, Washington State is experiencing its first known outbreak, potentially deadly fungus, according to public health officials. 4 patients in the last month have tested positive for Candida auris, or C. auris. Public Health Seattle and King County said in a release. The first case occurred in a patient who had recently been admitted to Kindred Hospital, Seattle, which was identified through a proactive screening program. Additional screenings found 2 new cases, as well as a case with links to Kindred, who had originally tested for the virus. Okay, it's currently unclear what the initial source of the infection is, and officials said the investigation is ongoing. So their investigation about the cause of the virus and how it's taking place and all these different things, but the scripture's been told us, man. Okay, what was going to happen concerning these plagues and pestilences, and that's what the Lord doing. The Lord is bringing judgment. Okay, a lot of death, a lot of plagues, a lot of pestilences, these outbreaks. You know, we just had CV19. You got this, you know, DX thing, this disease X thing that's popping up. You got these different strands, these different viruses popping up everywhere. All right. As we always say, all hell's about to break loose, and the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, Hashem Yahushua is going to come and wreak havoc on this place and bring swift judgment, man. Which includes these deadly viruses, these outbreaks, man. All right. And let me get this one more last article. This is also from ABC News. Okay, it says 139 passengers crew sickened during gastrointestinal illness outbreak on Queen Victoria cruise, says the CDC. Okay, so on the cruise line, it was 139 passengers that got sick with some sort of gastrointestinal illness. Now that's plague. That's plaguing the group of people. Imagine 139 sick people at one time. Just think about how many people's 139 people on one ship, right? I'm pretty sure there's a lot more than that, especially on those cruise ships. But think about how many people's 100. If you gathered 139 people into a not even a room, but even like in a hallway, that's a lot of people, and all of them are sick. All right, that's the plague, man. That's the Lord plaguing this place. All right. It says nearly 140 people have fallen sick during the gastrointestinal illness outbreak on a 3 Queen Victoria cruise, according to the CDC and prevention. The Cunard cruise line ship departed Fort Lauderdale, Florida on January 22nd. Overall, 123 passengers and 16 crew members have reported being ill during the voyages as of Thursday, according to the CDC. The cases are for the entire voyage and do not represent number of active cases. Okay. It says the predominant symptoms include diarrhea and vomiting, because that's what happens when you got a stomach illness. The cause of the outbreak is unknown, according to the CDC. Of course it is. Of course it is. Right, because it's the Lord plaguing this place. There are 1,824 passengers and 967 crew members on the ship in total. Like I said, it's probably close to a couple thousand. So, only a percentage of them, maybe 10%. But 10% ain't necessarily a small number, especially when you're talking about high numbers. All right, it says, in response to the outbreak, the cruise line and crew have isolated ill passengers and crew and increased cleaning and disinfection procedures according to the ship's outbreak prevention and response plan. All right, so I don't really want to go too deep into the article, but I just want to show how the Lord is finna plague this place. Okay, and again, that's Bible prophecy. Okay, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. In verse 10, it says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues." Lord's going to smite Babylon with plagues, man, as we see all types of strands and illnesses and viruses. And it's just going to get a lot worse. Okay? Those who have took that jab, okay, those who, continue to, break the dietary law, they're eating abominable foods. This is all going to result in real serious plagues at some point very soon, because the Lord is done with this place. Enough is enough. The plan was set for the Lord to destroy this place, and it's happening right in front of our very eyes. Okay, it says, verse 11 again, 2nd Ezra 15:11. "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues," okay, like we're seeing, "as before, and will destroy the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it." And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the punishment of Babylon the Great that the Heavenly Father is bringing upon this place. All right, and it's undeniable that it's coming from high. It's undeniable that it's coming from the Lord. Okay, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we got to continue to keep our eyes on the prophecy, keep our eyes on the news and the current events, so we can continue to link it to prophecy and link it to our salvation, man. All right, because make no mistake about it, there's nothing that will stop Bible prophecy from taking place. Not a thing, not one thing. Not Esau, Edom, not his new world order system that he's setting up. None of it. All right. If anything, it's all a part of the Lord's plan. Anything you see that happens, that goes down in any way, shape, or form, the Heavenly Father has allowed it. And it's going to end up with the destruction of Babylon the Great and salvation for the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. Those are the few articles I just wanted to bring out. Link it to Bible prophecy. Okay, link it to the end times. Okay, because we are definitely in the end times. No doubt about it. All right. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostle and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.